This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
When it comes to Talksport, of course, they're a very, very big and important platform here in the UK for like radio for various different sports. Boxing being somewhat one of them. Now, ever since the whole Conor Benn situation, Talksport and boxing have really, really grew together. They have. Talksport have grown their platform to the point when now they created their own Talksport Boxing YouTube channel. Off the back, pretty much off of Conor Benn. Because they regurgitate that particular storyline since day one for so long. They've done more content on that Conor Benn situation than anybody else. Now, automatically, some people go, well, yeah, rightfully so, it needs pointing out. And yeah, of course. And I'm not saying that some of the things that they've said isn't correct, okay? And I'm not saying that they don't have a right to say what they want to say. Of course they do. But it's overkill. Overkill. Whereas platforms like me, I will say what I'm going to say from time to time, and then I'll leave it. And I'll wait for the result. And then I'll react at the end and give an overall, okay? Whereas Talksport have pretty much built their platform as far as boxing is concerned off Conor Benn. Pretty much Simon Jordan single-handedly. Simon Jordan, who's coming across lately as if he wants to be the voice for boxing fans, but he's not. He comes across now as pompous. He does. From time to time in the beginning, it was quite interesting. It's quite funny watching him going on certain people, but now it gets a little tedious, doesn't it? Now, it'll be interesting though, because Talksport seem very, very... And again, you see, I'm saying Talksport, but of course I'm meaning Talksport Boxing and those who talk boxing, where half of them don't actually know what it is that they're talking about. And the rest of them, the amount of mistakes that I hear them make, and I'm thinking, did you really just say that? And put it out there in the atmosphere. That's dancing with death right there. And there's so many mistakes, and the people who, at the top of Talksport, who hire these people, don't know any better. They don't notice these mistakes. But I notice them pretty much every time they speak. And, of course, a lot of you will as well. But it will be interesting, though, because Talksport do seem very, very anti-Matchroom, especially Simon seems very, very anti-Matchroom. So does Gareth A. Davis and others and whatever else. When it comes to, say, Anthony Joshua, when it comes to Conor Benn, and, of course, not just them, but quite a lot of other fighters as well. And the impression that I'm getting is that there's a reoccurring theme. Matchroom. They don't like Matchroom. So if I'm Matchroom and I'm putting on the shows, especially the bigger shows, of course, because Talksport, they probably won't bother turning up to the small shows, right? Listen, I can talk about that in a separate video if you like. But because, listen, I've seen it to the point where media have been turned down because Talksport are then going to the big events. But they don't go to the small ones. Hey, I said, you know what, that is what it is. But it'll be interesting to see if Matchroom say to Talksport, right, you said all this crap, you've been pushing these narratives and all these sound waves and this, that and the other about Conor Benn. You've made it far worse than what it needed to be. You're not welcome to Conor Benn's fight. Because they seem to think that they have a God-given right to be there. When I'm hearing, say, like Gareth A. Davis and that saying, well, yeah, of course, I'm going to go to the event, I'm going to cover it because it's my job. Well, how about Matchroom say, okay, you're not coming. You're not coming. Because when you talk about our product, you do nothing but degrade us and put our product down. While you boost up as best you can our rivals. So why would we give you a big part of the media section? And it is a big part that they get, by the way. It's not just a chair or two like most other media. They get a section, okay? But yet, Talksport's thanks to Matchroom is what? Slag them off. So, what if Matchroom said to Talksport, you ain't coming to the Conor Benn situation. You will not be doing any kind of interviews afterwards, and you will not be doing the live radio. If people want to watch or listen to Conor Benn's fight, well, they're going to have to buy it on DAZN. Simple as that. Same with the Anthony Joshua Dillian White Part 2 fight as well. it seems that you have an agenda with Anthony Joshua, whether you do or whether you don't. It appears that you do. You're not coming. Matchroom need to make a stand. Will they do that? No, of course not. Of course not. They ain't got the balls to do that. They'll keep on getting battered from left to right and keep giving these guys all the access that even others don't get. Now, I don't know. I mean, does TalkSport pay them to be there? If they do, okay. But if they don't, then why is Matchroom allowing them in? Why don't Matchroom give them a year ban from all boxing shows? You will not be sitting there at ringside taking out a huge section of media when other media can be there who do actually support our product. You ain't coming. You're on a year ban until you start acting like proper media, proper journalists calling things down the middle. Because it does appear that you have some kind of agenda against us. That's what I would do. Listen, maybe I'm a little bit bitter, because if somebody starts slagging me off, you ain't coming into my house. Simple as that. I'm going to fight you out there. But you ain't stepping foot in my house. I think Matchroom should do the same. But of course they won't. And eventually TalkSport, the big people at TalkSport, who, I don't know if they're, how much they know about boxing, but quite clearly they're not spotting the mistakes that their employees are putting out there. For them, maybe they're just seeing it as the fact that they're driving up numbers, they're driving up interest, and whether it's good publicity, bad publicity, it's still publicity, right? Okay, so take away their feeding tool. Until you call everybody down the middle. And again, I know Simon Jordan, he will say, well, we do. Of course we do. It's just an opinion. If you don't like the opinion, then you need to pull your big boy pants on and all blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now you need to change your ways. Especially when you've got Simon there, who seems to think that he's the voice of boxing fans, right? Where he openly says he respects Frank Warren and Ben Shalom a lot more because they came through the ranks on their own merit, whereas Eddie Hearn inherited it, so therefore he doesn't really respect Eddie Hearn. Okay, TalkSport, you ain't coming in. Which is a little bit wrong of Simon Jordan, I think. I mean, again, he's not the only person who said it. I've seen many people say that don't like Eddie Hearn because he was born into money. I mean, why would you hate somebody who's born into money? Don't be wrong. I would have liked to have been born to money, but I wasn't. Okay, but I'm not going to hate Eddie Hearn for it. It's not his fault. But anyway, if it's me, if I'm Matchroom, I'm telling TalkSport for an entire 12 months, unless you start changing your ways, you're not coming to our shows because we don't get any benefit from you. We've got our favourites in IFL and Boxing Social and our own platforms of Matchroom and DAZN. We can put out content. We can do the interviews. What do we need you for? If you want to leech off our free media passes and our hospitality, jog on. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours. Click on the subscribe. Catch you next video.